Hi, hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Today we're just going to have some handsome fellas chatting intellectual about what's coming up on the weekend. This is the Working Perspectives Podcast Weekend Pop In. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied as always by my editor and producer, Tom Byers. Our special guest, Weekend Pop In guest, is the one and only Steve Cabot. All right, Shake Diggity, you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, man. All right, let's light the tires and kick the fires, Big Daddy. All right, let's do it. All right, Steve, how you doing, bud?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
All good, man. All good. I actually was by your place yesterday. You got a hell of a spot there. Shake, I went to get some stuff done on my car, and Steve Cabot at Glendale Automotive hooked it up for all you people out there looking for a mechanic you can trust. Head over to Glendale Automotive.
They pimp your ride?
Oh, they pimped it, baby. They pimped it. And the first thing Steve did was told me that I was a pussy because I had a yoga mat in my front seat.
Yeah, that's some nice service.
In all fairness, I asked him if it was his wife's car at first because I noticed a female yoga mat in shotgun. And he confidently looked at me and said, "No, it's my car. Why?"
It's a red Honda Accord, okay? That's a very masculine car, all right?
Yeah, man.
with a yoga mat.
That's a cruiser.
Honda Accord with a yoga mat. That just screams masculinity.
What's the yoga mat for, Matt? You doing some yoga?
Yeah, Matt. So, what it is that so we only use one car seat for my daughter, and it's in my wife's car, and she drives like a SUV kind of thing. So in the SUV, so there'll be times I'll have to take my daughter to school and my wife will go to like a workout class at the same time. She'll take my car, which usually she takes my car when, because when I'm dropping off, she's going to the workout class. And then when she's there, boom, 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 she does, she has her yoga mat and all that happy stuff, And that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So there you go.
There you have it. Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this. So we just finished the Alex Lavelle Epic, the month of Alex, 4 weeks straight of Alex Lavelle. I've had 30-something years of them, and I'm fucking sick of it. So I can't imagine all you people 4 weeks. Steve, what'd you think, pal? How'd you like the episodes?
I like them. I mean, obviously, I know the kids, so not as much as Tom, but I have a brief. He was younger when we were younger, so yeah. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool to hear who he is and stuff like that because I didn't really know much about him besides the fact that he was Yurtu's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was cool. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Nice, man. Glad you did. I know too. And Shake, you've brought this up where it's that when we do these shows with people like you, Steve, where it's like there's a gap where I don't see you, and Shake really didn't even know you, but you develop a relationship just because we have this nice conversation and we talk and stuff. And it's like, it is interesting, like to get the people's, what they've been doing if you haven't talked to them. And for us, it was like 15, 16 years or something like that. Well, it's not that we haven't talked, but we haven't had, like we would see each other at the bar.
A drawn out conversation. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So nice, man. Awesome. Yeah. Plus, dude, we had a couple of his episodes, episode 1 and episode 3. They were really critically acclaimed, we'll say. Especially episode 1. Episode 1 was a doozy. I hit some people with a little misdirection on that one for sure. But nice. Okay. So, well, this week, one of the big reasons we have you on, Steve, is that this week we are dropping part 1 of the Steve Cabot duo. What do you think, Steve? You think people are going to love it or what?
I don't know.
If they like it, they like it. If not, fuck them, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I've always been. But I do realize I've been told this before by, let's just say, more than a couple people. I kind of talk fast, and I don't realize it till I hear myself. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm like the Micro Machine Man from the commercials back in the day.
Dude, no, me and Shake talked about it, man. It works because it's a difference if I used to hang out with this chick that she was would talk so fast I couldn't understand what she was saying, but we understood what you're saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like you're good. And plus, dude, you nailed it. And like you're a pretty good storyteller too. So I thought when listening to, your recording, I thought, wow, this is some, and we only, dude, to be fair, like we had some, let's say a total, like maybe close to 3 hours of content with you, like barely scratching the surface, really,
there's tons of stories.
Tons. Plus, too, I would love to get something for all you listeners, to the dozens and dozens of Working Perspectives podcast listeners out there. If you have a question for Steve, you can hit us up at our socials at Working P Pod on Twitter and at workingperspectives at gmail.com and at Working Perspectives on Instagram. And you can hit us up and ask. Steve knows all the tricks when a mechanic's trying to screw you at those jerk shops, right? He's a true blue, kind of lets you know the real deal won't screw you. Oh,
gotta get the address on that one.
When I was in like with Portuguese guys, or when I was in like other countries or in Canada for snowboarding, every person I ever met that wasn't English their first language, I would go on a spiel for 20 minutes with them, and then they would look over to the guy to the right of me and go, I don't know a word he just said. He speaks way too fast. And I'm like, I got it. I told him I just went through like a 20-minute how to properly place your knee for a double leg and how you finish. And this Brazilian guy gets up and goes, I have no idea what he just fucking said. I'm like,
dude, that
God
happens
damn it.
Oh, dude, I feel your pain, man. So I think the listeners of this show know that I married a beautiful Albanian woman. Surprisingly to some people.
I had an Albanian kid that came through my parents fresh off the boat that wrestled for me a couple of years ago. It was the strongest human being I've ever met. He's a heavyweight, strongest human I've ever met.
I bet too. Class A kid, right?
Good kid, firefighter. Great, yep.
Yeah.
Parents great were always there. Good people.
Yeah.
Really good people.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, man. If you're looking for a wife or something, the Albanians, dude, they got it going on. They're the best, man. Great culture.
They got a little strange. You gonna tell them to order one next?
No, I didn't. You could try.
I didn't know where you were headed with that.
It's a beautiful country too. If anyone ever wants to go, but
wrestling big in Albania, baby.
Oh, dude, it is strange that when you go to like the Eastern European countries, obviously Asia, it's massive, the Middle East, stuff like that. Massive. Like wrestling, they're selling out 70,000 seat arenas for a wrestling tournament. You know what I mean? And it isn't folk style. It isn't American wrestling. It is freestyle wrestling, which is considered the Olympic stuff, which it is like, it can be a lot more throws and like can be sometimes faster paced, but the way that the rules are for American wrestling now, it is all action, baby. Oh, man. And it's like, dude, the athleticism needed, like, it's scrambling. It's like catching something in a scramble. And it's really 100%. And it's like just being good at that. That stuff changed the game. Like, there's stuff now. Like, I remember, like, the Merkle was just coming in when we were still wrestling in high school, Steve. And now, like, dude, the Merkle's like commonplace. Like, it's a must because that's just how you keep your scramble going at time. You know what I mean? Like, just crazy stuff. But
the way that the funk has materialized, where Norristown was the first one to really start doing it, and now that is the staple of almost every takedown to start a scramble. Even at the collegiate level, at the Olympic level, everything starts with that stupid funk, rolling the ankle, then getting your hips high. It's wild. Dude,
that is nuts, dude. And so we will say that NCAA's just happened too, right? What'd you think of that, Steve? I know you watched it.
I watched every second of it. PA showing out as always.
Always.
Even had an all PA final with Carter Staracci versus old boy Kemmerer. I mean, we didn't do the best per se, but we had I think out of the 20, we had 8 finalists out of 20.
Jesus. Did Penn State win, or who won?
They took second. Iowa won, but it was bittersweet. It was bittersweet because Iowa had 3 guys in the finals, and only Spencer Lee won, who, by the way, is a PA legend for those who don't know. And he won his 3rd national title, and the other 2 guys lost in the finals, and Penn State went 4 for 4. So they had 4 guys in the finals, all 4 national champs.
Jesus, that's unreal.
Including 2 true freshmen.
That's unreal. I know, Shake, you're sitting there like, whatever. But it is, dude. You should be proud that you're from you're from a state where it is the best wrestling considered, and like some would consider in the world, and like we're from Eastern PA where that is the best wrestling in the world for sure.
Yeah,
So,
the Western PA people they suck compared to the Eastern PA
no,
people?
no, they're very good. They're
not anymore.
Western,
So when we were in high school, Matt, Lehigh Valley was the leader. Not anymore. Agreed. Now it's the Pittsburgh suburbs, which is District 7.
Like Allegheny and them.
That's
like
where
that area.
Yes, that's where like Spencer Lee. That's where Spencer Lee came from. That's where Kemmerer came from. That's where all these big time names. Null. That's where all these kids have been coming from. Is the WPIAL, which is District 7, aka the suburban county surrounding Pittsburgh.
No shit. I know, like, because when we were coming up, Jake
Great
Herbert.
Monongahela.
Yeah. Jake Herbert,
baby.
Yeah. They used to shake. This is how good Pennsylvania is. Okay. This is how good Pennsylvania is at wrestling. They do this thing. It's called the Dapper Dan Classic, right? At the Dapper Dan Classic, they take the best wrestlers from Pennsylvania, the best high school wrestlers from Pennsylvania, the best senior. So it's the best senior high school wrestlers from Pennsylvania.
Not best wrestler, best senior
high school wrestler from Pennsylvania, and they put them against the national team. Right, the national
number one kid at any weight from the other 49 states.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
And PA still holds the overall team win record. Like we beat them more than they beat us. And it's literally just like a guy who I was the alternate my senior year because there's only one senior in my bracket. Yeah. So it was Scotty Heckman. Scotty Heckman wrestled in it. I was the alternate, and Scotty Heckman was a 3-time state place winner, never a state champion. Had like 103 wins and like 25 losses, and went against a kid who was 4-time Michigan State champ, like 205-6, and Scott beat the pants off him. Beat the pants off him.
Dude, I'm telling you, Shake, it's not a joke. And I think everybody, even in like the national wrestling community, knows like this.
They all talk about it.
And like I remember like Cody Rhodes, he's like a pro wrestler for AEW, and he was like a big high school wrestler out of Georgia and stuff like that. He even said, like, when he's like, I know I'm not from Pennsylvania and I know whatever, but Georgia is coming up as far as the state, but everyone really recognizes it. They recognize it so much, Shake, that there's the Pennsylvania team against the national team, but then they do a second one where it's the Western Pennsylvania team against all of Ohio. And like they change the state. So sometimes it's Ohio, sometimes it's Georgia, sometimes it's Illinois, whatever. But yeah. So
they do that in football. The Big 33 game.
Yes.
Pennsylvania versus Ohio.
Yeah, that's Pennsylvania, Ohio. This is Pennsylvania versus USA.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's crazy.
The other thing,
and PA
think of this. So Iowa was the national champions this year. Like I just said, right? Team champions, the Division I NCAA national team champions. There's 10 weight classes in college. 5 of the starters who all placed for Iowa's starting 10 were PA kids. So 50% of Iowa's team are PA kids, all from the same youth program, the Young Guns out in Western PA.
No shit. So this kid's legit been wrestling together forever. So damn, this Young Guns thing is legit gimmick. So hold on then.
So the guy who was the guy who ran Young Guns was Cody Strattenmeyer, who was a PA wrestler that went to the University of Iowa back in the Dan Gable days. Then he moved back to PA and he started his own little wrestling program that was a youth, advanced youth program. And of course, that advanced youth program, when they got older, they said he was a big influence in their life and he was an Iowa guy. So that's how they connected. That's how the brands now have this pipeline through PA.
So yeah, but I mean, I know we big up PA and high school wrestling all the time, but it is a big deal. So another thing, in college, I love too that I think so. Cale Sanderson is a living legend in wrestling, and he wrestled at Iowa State and was just a killer wrestler, like one of the best college wrestlers of all time. All this stuff,
easily the best.
Yeah,
no argument. The only undefeated wrestler in over 100 years of wrestling.
Yeah, so the best college wrestler. Agreed. And once he was done with the Olympics and everything like that, he went to coaching. He coaches at Penn State. Right? Mm-hmm. Did Penn State win last year, Steve?
They won the last 8 out of the last 10 years.
Won 8 out of the last 10 national championships. Yeah. So as soon as he came, and he recruits he recruits whoever, because everyone wants to go there because he's a legend. But then he had great coaches like Troy Letters and stuff. He had all these studs come and work with him and everything. But yeah, Penn State. So Penn State and I were both in the Big Ten. I believe the Big Ten probably has to be the best conference in wrestling without,
So, another example, they give you allotments, right? So when you wrestle in your conference tournament, you have to qualify through your conference tournament, like the Pac-10s, the EIWALs, the prep schools. Usually the champion and the runner-up get a bid to the NCAAs. Usually for the Big Ten, you could take 8th in the Big Tens and still get an automatic guaranteed spot in the NCAAs, because they usually take, like, out of the 12 wrestlers, they take like 10 of them out of the Big Ten, because all of them are the Big Ten is so much better than every other conference. It's insane.
And they beat the crap. And like, there's even schools like Rutgers and stuff have a stellar program. Like they all, and it like, don't get it twisted. Penn State is selling out the Bryce Jordan Center every match. They have the spotlight. Like it is a big deal. And even
when they have Bryce Jordan, they still do it in Rec Hall, because because Kale loves how that's a like a 80-year-old facility, how it's still the fans are on top of the wrestling in Rec Hall. Yeah. Where at Bryce Jordan, you're out it's a brand new, you know what I mean? He loves Rec Hall. Which makes it impossible to get almost impossible to get a ticket, because it only seats like 7,000, where Bryce Jordan's 20,000.
Yeah, but it's almost better. It's kind of like the Blue Horizon was for boxing.
Yes,
right.
I agree. Exact scenario.
Yeah. So okay. So we're saying, so if you like this kind of chat, expect it coming up on this week's release that we're coming out with the Steve Cabot Part 1 of the Steve Cabot Duo. I'm not gonna lie, we say this a lot. Our moniker is ice cream, every flavor of ice cream. And I know that, with Alex the last 4 weeks we didn't have a lot of variety, but we're the variety of going from, like, we had before Alex, we had a someone who was like a shop girl and then works at like a mortgage company. Then we go to Alex, who obviously had a million jobs, and now we're going to someone who owns and manages an auto garage and runs it with his family and his brother and his dad, who I saw your dad yesterday. Fucking the best. The best. He walked, I was like, hey, how are you? He walked by, he just says, and then just walked away. I was like, this guy's the fucking greatest. But yeah, so
he's over it. Ever since his stroke, he had a stroke like a couple of years back, and ever since that, he's just over like everything. You see these people, they're like, Steve, and he's like, that's not bud. He just keeps it moving. I'm like, all right.
I fucking love it. I thought it was great. But so either way, nice. So okay, but so we got you coming up this week. Everyone's gonna look. If you like what we're talking about now and just the whole thing, even if you don't, you should listen to it. It's a really great episode. Really shows our versatility. But another thing we like to do on the Weekend Pop-In is throw out a couple what we call a recommendation. So Steve, since you're our special guest on the Weekend Pop-In, do you have a recommendation for something to do this weekend?
A huge part of my life and my closest friends' lives. Saturday is the opening day for trout fishing.
Oh, all right. You did. So
you're legally allowed to keep trout.
Yeah. So hold on, keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You're legally allowed to keep trout.
No problem. Yeah, you can fish obviously the local ones would be the Wissahickon. I love the Wissahickon. There's a couple really good spots up in Flowertown, like right by
What's the one you sent me the other week? You were at the other week?
The Perky Omen. Oh, is that the one with the waterfall? Was that the big?
Yeah.
That's Flat Rock Dam in Roxborough. Down on Flat Rock Dam and old Channel 63 and Channel 64 of the channel lock of the Mannion Canal. So those things have been there for like 180 years. It's incredible. You can walk out on them and stuff. I see him walk across the waterfall, which is bonkers because it's like a 20-foot drop and there's a big chunk of concrete at the bottom. So if you slip and slide over, it's not like you're falling into deep water. You're wailing off a giant rock and then going into deep water.
Matt, what was that place we used to
Black Rock
that one time? Yeah.
So
Black Rock,
Black Rock and Flat Rock there's like 8 different dams built up the Schuylkill from the old coal mines all the way down to Delaware. And obviously the first one is the Art Museum. Then you go further up, it's Flat Rock, and then you go further up and there's the prominent ones that were giant lock stations for the old tugboats to go through were Flat Rock and Black Rock, and that's where you see all those weird channel locks on the
Yeah,
sides.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't know
Yep.
that. I had no idea what those things were.
Yep.
Oh shit! Look at you, Stu Bands,
It's a
coming with
good
some
one.
fucking
So-
history there, babe.
So you can fish and keep the trout.
Thing, buddy.
So Steve, you can shake
They
ass.
have to be, I think, larger than a certain size, but
Okay. What's the? All
Okay.
right. So they have to be okay. Like you're
I think
not
it's like 8
keeping.
inches
You
or
would,
9 inches.
yeah, you wouldn't keep a baby anyways, right? Yeah.
You
Yeah.
and even if it's on like the borderline, I'd rather put that thing back in and let it respawn and make more fish than I want the old mature one that's big as hell and did its job and it's ready to be taken out.
Yeah, dude, agreed. I mean, that's for sure. Dude, I'll tell you what, I haven't been fishing forever. I know when
So
my
relaxing.
my old man used to take us up to Nakamixon, right?
Yep.
Lake Nakamixon. Great, beautiful
Quakertown.
area. Oh yeah,
Quakertown.
gorgeous.
Yep.
Loved it. He used to take us up to Nakamixon. It was awesome. We used to do our thing up there. And like like there was like this bridge there that we used to it was awesome. But dude, fishing, I haven't been in forever, man. That is a great recommendation.
Yeah.
So trout season starts this week.
Officially Saturday.
Nice, dude.
So if you're an amateur, I'd wait a couple of weeks because it's super annoying when you go the opening day. There's a shitload of people shoulder to shoulder. It eventually wears off after like a couple of weeks, but there's a lot of people out this weekend. You got to know, like I'll end up heading up to the Poconos because there's less people, but after
really?
after a month or two, I'll start hitting the Wissahickon and hitting the Perkiomen and those type Unami, those cricks.
Dude, I didn't know. Damn, you're into it, man. That's awesome.
Well, one of my closest friends, the kid coaches at North Penn now and was a great football player, Kevin Zeblum, Zeblum lives to fish. I mean, it is everything in his world. Everything. He's like the Bill Dance of human. Like he's the greatest. He's so into it, it's insane.
Really?
So I kind of just coattail off of him. Whenever he wants to go somewhere, I know it's the most serious for him. So I know
he's like researching and yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's great. So I know for like, okay, so for like ducks and stuff like that, there's like a limit you can hit. Is there a limit for trout too?
Yes. There's 5.
Oh,
per
5
person.
a day? 5 a day
per
or
person? 5 a day per person. Yep.
Do you hit your limit?
Oh yeah, when we go to the Poconos, we got a couple spots. Around here, it's a little tough, but yeah, since we know the lay of the land, you'll always grab like 3 at least.
Nice. All right, dude. There is not. I mean, don't get it twisted. There's been plenty of times old Uncle Matty went out there with his pole trying to catch something, and the fish weren't biting. Let me tell you.
That's why they call it fishing and not catching.
That's a good one.
Happens to me all the time.
Oh man,
That's
yeah,
so
you just
good.
gotta stick with it, man. So it is though. It is nice seeing the water and being out in nature. What were you saying, Shake?
The ultimate go fishing and you're not getting anything, at least for me and my family, was Peace Valley. Peace Valley.
Oh,
I think my dad knew it too. I think he just knew it. He thought, get these idiot kids to put their poles, cast out a line and sit there for a few hours and let him drink beer while we, basically stayed in line for the most part.
Yeah, same. We used to go night fishing there too. I swear to God, never caught anything at Peace Valley. The only thing that anyone that I ever knew caught there was asshole one time caught a duck with his bare hands and brought the duck back to my mom's house in his Toyota Camry. They named the duck Junior, and the duck shit all over his back seat. It was brutal.
Oh
brutal.
my God.
We'd take Junior Duck for a walk. Kept him in the garage. And then my mom was like, you dumb assholes, like you stupid bastards. You got to take the goddamn duck back. I don't want this duck here. What the duck is wrong with you? Yeah.
Or eat it,
I've had duck. You ever had duck? It's greasy. I'm not a big fan.
I have had duck, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan.
Agreed. No, I'm not in love with it. Not in love with
it. It's a dry, shitty chicken to me.
I mean, I'd somewhat agree. So nice. Okay, so Shake. So that was a great recommendation. So yeah, opening day of trout season here, Steve. Great recommendation. Shake Diggity. What do you got for recommendation?
Okay, my recommendation is on Hulu. The entire series of King of the Hill is on Hulu, and King of the Hill is an incredible show. And I hadn't seen it since like the 90s or whenever it was on. And I started watching it again, and it is fantastic. It's really, really great.
Dude,
So that's
that is awesome.
Recommendation.
Wow. Dude, I like it. All right.
Yeah.
So King of the Hill. So they used to do a thing, and I think it was Fox, right? Where they were like animation domination. And was King of the Hill in that?
Yeah, King of the Hill, Simpsons, and then they had some other ones that they were trying.
South Park.
Well, South Park was on Comedy Central, but it was definitely like part of that whole crew.
Because wasn't it like a Sunday night gimmick, like Family Guy, American Dad, King of the Hill, Simpsons? Like, dude, they were just running shit with the animation. Oh my god.
Yeah. And that's like, people love the animation now because they don't have to be on location to do the, the voices and stuff. Bill Burr has a
F is for Family.
Yeah,
so good.
It's fantastic.
So good.
For any of our older listeners out there that like actually were alive in the 70s,
they'll love it.
You'll love it because, and I find it funny, but I don't really get the references. But like I was talking to my dad about it, and he obviously was old enough to remember the 70s, and I was saying like, oh man, I bet you're gonna love it because they had like these bands that were kind of trying to be like Led Zeppelin, but they were like, like pussies. They were like, they were like little weenie versions of Led Zeppelin, like with like wizard costumes and shit. And I think that people would find that really funny that we're alive in the 70s.
That's the best. The best. That's great. Nice. All right. Excellent recommendation. Excellent recommendation.
What about you, Matt?
Excellent. Old Uncle Matty. What's old Uncle Matty got for everyone this week?
We're moving on.
Nobody wants your opinion.
Yeah, no one does. No one cares.
Let me guess, Matt. You're changing diapers and
well, if you are going to use diapers, I would recommend. I'm a Huggies man myself. I'm just saying, Huggies all the way. If you're going diapers, go Huggies. And I'm hey Huggies, if you want us to sponsor the show, fucking reach out. I'll fucking love you Huggies. No, I'm actually going to go with.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Sorry, it'll be really quick. I promise. Steve, do you have kids?
Nah.
Okay. So
not for lack of trying though.
Well, and I have none that I currently know of. Anyway,
we'll figure it.
I do have a 135 pound, 40 pound, half pit that looks like a giant, enormous Rottweiler pit.
Oh wow!
So he eats more than my nieces. I mean, so he's kind of expensive.
He doesn't wear diapers though, does he?
No, unfortunately not.
Well, let me ask.
I have a plastic bag on my hand lifting up shits bigger than mine. I'm like, God damn it.
Oh, that's so gross.
Big dog needs big shit. Big dog needs big shit.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, let me ask you this question then. When I worked at Babies R Us back in the day, and on Black Friday, they would have
kind of random job was that.
And it was the worst. It was like the worst, most useless job of all time.
He worked there with his wife as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Worked there with my wife.
Okay. Cool.
But on Black Friday, they would have like sales, like crazy sales, and people would come, the whole like thing where people run in the store and
hell yeah,
grab like a stroller for half off, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what they also had was diaper sales.
But
the thing was, the only diapers they would put on sale were the Babies R Us brand diapers, like not Huggies and not all the stuff. People come up to me and say like, they would say like, I'd rather my kid just not have a diaper on than wear one of these because the frustration is. So what's the issue? Is it like
especially depending. Okay, so for all of you out there listening, you're gonna about to hear some shit. Literally.
Yeah, for our dads in training, man. This is
the big difference is, Shake, is the key is you want like dependability, right? It can't leak out. So when they're real young, all their whole diet's liquid. So their feces is all liquid. So if you have the Babies R Us gimmick at that age, forget about it. You're ruining every pair of pants you got. Every pair of pants you got. Yeah.
Okay, so it's your official recommendation.
Yep, I'm going to say Huggies. Yep, Huggies is my recommendation for all those people out there looking for a nice diaper.
Yeah.
So
don't be so damn cheap, people.
Yeah. So, okay, perfect. So let's wrap it up here. So this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives Weekend Pop-In. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied as always by my editor and producer, Tom Byers. Our special guest on the Weekend Pop-In today was the one and only Steve Cabot. Shake Diggity, got anything you want to say to the peeps before we roll out?
Yes. I want you people to use your turn signals on the road, and I want you to stop at stop signs.
Yeah,
I'm
please.
Tired of this.
Yeah.
I can't take it anymore.
We all are. You're right. Awesome. So you can find all our episodes and all our content on every podcast platform at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can find us on Spotify at the Working Perspectives Podcast. You can see us on YouTube at the Working Perspectives Podcast, and you can follow us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast and on the Twitter at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show and deal with the approval process from the PAAA, then hit us up at workingperspectives@gmail.com and we will get you on. Other than that, this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives Podcast Weekend Pop-In. Have a great weekend. Stick around for the ad read. Thanks. See ya.
Do you have a message or a story inside of you that you've been waiting to tell? Have you always dreamed of writing a book, but are intimidated by the complexities of the book publishing world? Perhaps you want to use a book to launch your public speaking or consulting career. If so, please reach out to Scott and Bell Publishing, located right here in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Scott and Bell Publishing handle all genres and authors with all experience levels. Scott & Bell Publishing gives authors 100% creative freedom and a higher royalty split. They can be found at www.skotbell.com. That's www.s as in Sam, K as in Kite, O as in October, T as in Tom, B as in Boy, E as in Edward, L as in Larry, L as in Larry.com. That's Scott and Bell Publishing, where the authors go.